I'm so grateful that we are back. Okay, welcome to Walking the Path. Happy Thursday, rainy Thursday here in Costa Rica. We're on the bottom end of um, of a hurricane or a tropical storm that's hitting the Yucatan. We're pretty far south. We're about 500 miles south of the hurricane, but we're getting the tail end of it. It's really rainy. Hey, everybody, Felicia, great to see you. So I want to talk about today meditation and psychedelics and how they work together. And then I had this other piece that I wanted to talk about. So it's a grab bag today. The other piece is how to break free from people pleasing. It's one of the things that I hear the most when I'm teaching classes or workshops. People really relate to Jack. What's up, brother? Christy, good to see you. Welcome, everybody. People really relate to this idea of people pleasing. I don't know. I'm going to ask a question about the audio because it's raining really hard. Do you guys hear the rain, or is the noise filter filtering it out? I want to know. Okay, so each week I get the great privilege of teaching at Rythmia. I teach Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith's class called "The Answer Is You," and hey, Anna, thank you. And I also get to teach the opening workshops. There at Rythmia, how to work with plant medicine, kind of a plant medicine 101. I get to teach integration classes. So I kind of do a lot of teaching there, and I really love it. And I get to work with people in addition to the work that I do with individuals one-on-one and in groups. So Rythmia is this amazing place that I am so grateful that I get to be there. I was just telling Jerry, who's the founder, I was like, man, I get to share my gifts and talents at this amazing place. And he said, I know, I feel the same way, But the reason why it's an amazing place is so many miracles happen there every week. Every week, I get to walk people through this path of seeing some core wounding, that a story that they told themselves about not being loved, not being enough, not belonging, not being accepted. Some story that happened when we were little that we told ourselves. We had an experience. That experience created a belief. That belief was the story we told ourselves, and then that becomes the law of our life. I'm not lovable, so I do all these things in order to feel lovable. All this is an intellectual expression right now, but in plant medicine, in breath work, in meditation, but especially plant medicine and breath work, you get to those points very quickly. And that's what happens at Rythmia every week. I don't know any other retreat center, ayahuasca or plant medicine retreat center, that has the program that we do. So if you're interested in Rythmia and you're on Instagram, go to rythmia.com. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, check out the number on the screen. Okay. Psychedelics, meditation, and people pleasing. And how do they all go together? We're going to fit them all together. Don't you worry. But the first thing I want to do is talk about, what we get. A lot of people love the psychedelic experience. It can be amazing. It can be challenging too, for sure. But it can be amazing in those moments where we open up to pure being, pure consciousness. There can be an ego dissolution, which can be scary, but also on the other side of that is pure beingness. It provides us with a deep sense of unity, clarity. We can be present to the unfolding of our experience. It's like you're just so present, like, whoa, everything is alive, everything is rich and full, and it's just this rush of experience in the really beautiful states of psychedelics. And really, that's what we want in life. Psychedelics can provide an insight. It's like, hey, this is possible. What I see happens a lot is people get caught on the experience in psychedelics, and they're not doing the work of integration and embodiment after the psychedelic experience. And they just keep going to the psychedelic experience because it feels so good. But that's sort of like, God, what's the metaphor I want to use? That's sort of like having to jumpstart your car every time. You know, it's like not fully charging the battery, but yeah, you get the car going every time. So it's kind of like getting a jump start every time. But when you start to rely on the jump start, you realize that your battery isn't full, and you need the jump start just to get through. When actually we want to use our relationship with these beautiful plant medicine allies and molecules to jumpstart us into having this experience all the time. Now, of course, we don't want to be in the psychedelic experience all the time, like, whoa, you know, but the experience of being, the experience of an unmitigated stimulus coming in without judgment, opinion, mentation. It's just the flow of experience and the joy. Like when you're in an open, expanded psychedelic state, you're receiving, it's hard to put it into words, but for me, it's like receiving an unedited flow of life. You're just like, whoa, oh my God, this is life. Wow. You know? So we want to experience that all the time. We want to be washing the dishes and feeling that. We want to be having our car stolen and experiencing that. We don't want to have our car stolen, but the things that we might consider challenges in life, wouldn't it be amazing if we were able to approach the challenges in life as, oh, wow, this is the rush of experience of life. Whoa, this is life. Okay. Wow. Awe and wonder. So we can do that. And this is where meditation comes in. Meditation is a foundational practice that we must do. And I'm not talking about guided meditation. I'm not talking about mantras or transcendental meditation, although those are beautiful. I'm not talking about, Nasser, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. I'm not talking about like walking meditations. No, I'm talking about classic Vipassana meditation where it's you and your breath. And now let's talk about meditation. In these states of meditation, hey brother, good to see you, man. Darren, good to see you. In these states of deep meditation, especially in the beginning, you're observing your thoughts, you're observing your experience. And so there's still a subject. There's still a subject of observing something. So there's a space between the experience and the response, the stimulus and the response. This is what we want to begin with meditation, is we're beginning to get distance so we're not fused in reactivity. We're separating a little bit out and having a stimulus come in, a thought, a feeling, a sensation, a noise, and we're just in full observation of that. And there's a subject that's observing that. And eventually in meditation, we get to a place where the subject sort of disappears. And there's just unedited flow of experience coming in, pure being, pure presentness. This is also what we experience in the psychedelic experience as well. In those moments of elevated expansion in psychedelics, it's like pure being. The self, it's called ego dissolution. Why? Because our sense of self dissolves and there's pure being. Like life is happening as me. And there's not even a me. It's just as. It's just being. So we can achieve that in meditation. Now, the purpose of psychedelics, yoga, meditation, breath work is to take the experience that we have off of the mat, off of the mattress, off of the mat, into life. So while psychedelics and meditation can open the door for us, meditation is the practice that helps us walk through this experience in daily life. So there are some practical suggestions that I want to offer to you for bridging the states of the psychedelic experience and deep states of meditation, breath work as well, because breathwork does the same thing as the psychedelic experience. It quiets the default mode network of the brain and allows a ability to recall traumatic memory, look at it, and restore it in an affirmative way. It's the beginning of sovereignty. That's another topic. We're going to go to practical suggestions for bridging elevated states of expansion in breathwork and meditation and yoga and psychedelics into everyday life. So simple mindfulness practices. Really. Now, we want to have these deep states, and now we want to welcome them into our life by being present. How can we be present in everything we do? Setting intentions is a great way to become present in our daily lives. Set an intention before I set an intention before I went on for the live stream. Set an intention before you have a conversation with your partner or your colleague. If you're going for a walk later today, what's your intention? What's your intention for this workout? What's your intention for this drive? What's your intention for this vacation? What's your intention for watching this live stream? If we begin to set intentions, we begin to create an awareness and a field of mindfulness in our daily lives. Taking moments of silence in our daily lives is another way that we can bring mindfulness into our daily lives. What if we ate in silence? And really, what if we ate in silence and used chopsticks instead of forks and spoons, which are like little shovels, right? A dear friend of mine, Stacy, used to eat everything with chopsticks, and she called them mindfulness sticks because it slows you down. What if you could bring those things into your daily life? Being present through intention in conversation, being present to your emotions and how you're feeling, and eating in silence, eating with chopsticks. When I'm doing the dishes, bring a sense of excellence to what you're doing. This is real enlightenment. When they asked Buddha, I don't know who the they is, but someone asked Buddha, hey, Buddha, you're enlightened. What are you doing now? I'm going to Disneyland. No. Hey, Buddha, what did you do before enlightenment? And Buddha said, I chopped wood and I carried water. And they said, what did you do after enlightenment? And he said, I chopped wood, I carried water. There's a line in Exodus that I really love that I heard through Howard Thurman. And he said that Moses takes the elders up to the burning bush. And then they come back down. And the line in Exodus says, they saw the face of God and then they ate and drank. To me, that means they had a sublime experience of the divine. And then they returned to the everyday tasks of living. This is bringing mindfulness into our everyday life. You have this ecstatic experience of the sublime and psychedelics and breath work and meditation. And now we bring it in through mindfulness into everything that we're doing, that our chopping wood and carrying water, our washing dishes, our eating and drinking becomes a practice of being present and catching ourselves in the mentation of life that we're constantly thinking and churning like a hamster on a treadmill. So morning and evening meditations are also a very important anchoring mechanism for your psychedelic experience and in life, period. Let me just say, this came to me through a class and a dear friend, and I am repeating it because I believe it. You need to meditate at least twice a day so that you can trust yourself. If you're not checking in with yourself twice a day in silence and shutting down, disengaging from the mentation and constant rumination, if you're not shutting down twice a day, you can't trust yourself because you're just stuck in the rat race, literally. So the concept of integration is turning these fleeting insights, these ecstatic moments, into lasting transformation. Meditation 2 times a day is one way to do that. Journaling is another way. Somatic practices like breath work and yoga help to embody the wisdom. Having a community circle, sharing circles, coaching circles is really important as well. Okay, so this is the part where I want to start talking about people pleasing. Okay, So the idea, I had kind of a grab bag. I was like, well, I want to talk about meditation and psychedelics, but I also want to talk about people pleasing. So I want to talk about people pleasing for a little bit. Topic number 2, because when I teach classes and workshops, I get a huge response when I talk to people about perfectionism and people pleasing. That seems to be a very up right now in our culture, and I can relate. I mean, it's definitely a coping mechanism that I have used in my life, and I'm becoming more and more aware of it. And it's not a one and done. But to define people pleasing, it's a learned survival mechanism. It's something that we learned to survive, because at some point we were afraid that we weren't going to get our needs met unless we were pleasing. It's like, if I can make others happy at some basic level, if I can make others happy, then I'll be safe, I'll be loved, I'll be accepted, I'll be enough. Those are the core woundings. I'm not safe, I'm not loved, I'm not enough, and and I don't belong, right? In some way, everything boils down to that. In some variation, I'm scared, I'm not safe. You know, I'm not lovable. Um, you know, I'm bad. There's something wrong with me. I'm unworthy. I'm not enough. Some variation of those things. So, hey, Janice, good to see you. Um, so people pleasing then becomes Martin, brother, I love you. I just have to remember I am a people. Yes, brother, I love you, man. That's right. Please yourself, baby. That's so it, Martin. That is so it. Please yourself. This is the truth. The best definition of love I ever heard. Thank you for that, Martin. Best definition of love I ever heard was from M. Scott Peck in his seminal book, The Road Less Traveled. He said that love is the extension of oneself for the genuine care and nurturing of your own and then another's spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. You got to care for your own spiritual, mental, and physical well-being before you can care for another's. This is the antidote to people pleasing. It's as simple as that. You got to put your mask on before you put someone else's, your child's mask on, right? You need to make sure that you have what you need physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally before you can please others. It's not a bad thing to please others. When we put others before us, that's called codependency. That becomes a chronic habit that stems from core woundings. And these core woundings are typically imprints from early childhood experiences. Typically, I know it sounds so cheesy. It happened in your childhood. It did. It really did. Usually before the age of 8. Before 10, but typically 8. Something happened and you had an experience, and that experience created a belief, and that belief became the law of your life. So, you didn't get picked for kickball. You're always the last to get picked for kickball. Nobody wants you on their team. You're not enough. I'm not accepted. I don't belong. Something along those lines. That imprint goes deep within you. It's seared into your neural pathway. And then you're 50 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, and you're a people pleaser, because that's how you, as a young child, learned that you would be accepted, that you would be okay, that you'd be safe, that could please them. So you became a comedian. You became funny. You became, easy to get along with. You became helpful people, right? This is how our core woundings imprint our early experiences, and then they become the law of our life, and they're false premises that are not true. And if I ask most of these people in their adult lives, they would say, of course I'm safe, of course I belong. But deep down, there's a deep memory that's been embedded. This is where psychedelics and breath work and meditation can help reveal these deep unconscious beliefs. And our life structure of beliefs is a core area for us to clean up about what we really believe. And a false belief is that I can only get my needs met by pleasing other people. Now, this is not a conscious belief. This is an unconscious belief. Thank you, Felicia. So, like my story really came, like my people pleasing came from, I've told the story before, but it's worth retelling. I was 5 years old. I remember this. I always remembered this, but I didn't know why until I was doing breath work and psychedelics, and the memory came back, and I was able to associate the memory with an emotion, right? Because what happens is we have that memory. How many of you out there have a memory that you've always had, don't know why, but I always had this memory. It's weird that I remember that thing from childhood. And there's really no emotion connected to it, just a memory. It's because your beautiful mind, to protect you, went, oh, that was really yucky. I don't want to feel that. Let's separate the memory from the emotion. And then you suppress the emotional content. That's what becomes the law of your life. Deep down inside, I can only get my needs met by pleasing others. Consciously, I'm a badass. I don't need anybody. I don't care what other people think, but you're a people pleaser. How does that work? So really the piece of this is, so my story of orange juice. I was 5 years old, sat down, I got a glass of orange juice from the refrigerator. My father watched me get the glass of orange juice. I saw him watch me. Then I sat down next to him. He was watching a Western, and he goes, what do you got? And I go, I got a glass of orange juice. You just saw me get it. I didn't say that. I was like, I have a glass of orange juice. And he said, well, I'd like one, meaning like you should have asked me if I wanted one while you got yourself one. Like you need to think of other people. He was trying to teach me a good lesson. I said, he goes, well, I'd like one. And I said, well, I don't feel like getting you one. I just sat down, unedited 5-year-old, totally perfect, whole and complete. I know what I want. I know what I need. I remember checking in with myself and going, I just sat down. And he could have asked for one. I was getting the orange juice. He could have asked for one. So I don't want to get it for you. Well, he said to me, okay, no problem. Next time you want me to do something for you that I don't want to do, I'm not going to do it. That's not the truth. My father would have done anything for me. However, at that moment, Janice, I became afraid. I got really scared because I knew that I needed him. I relied on him to do stuff. And if I didn't get that orange juice, when I needed him to take me somewhere or to buy me something or whatever I needed, the myriad of things at 5 years old that you need your parents for. And I got scared. And that's when I learned in that moment that I have to give to get, that I have to go along to get along, that I'm a people pleaser. And if I'm perfect, the more perfect I am, the more higher chances that you're going to like me. And if you like me, then I'm going to get my needs met. So whatever I need to do to make sure you're okay. And that became the law of my life. And it was based on fear. It was based on, I'm scared. And it's something that a 6-year-old, 5-year-old would say, I'm afraid. Oh my God, I'm scared. So this is the how these childhood experiences become imprinted, and how psychedelics and breath work and meditation help us to extricate ourselves from these buried emotions and stories around unworthiness. So the medicine can bring clarity to you on this in a very, therapy can do this, talk therapy, breath work, spiritual practitioner. I'm a spiritual practitioner. We can work on this. And I usually incorporate breath work, and breath work can be a very powerful way to do this. Psychedelics is like the fast way. Breath work is a fast way as well. So there are techniques to witness and release your own people pleasing as you're doing it. If you notice, oh my God, I'm people pleasing again, you can simply interrupt that thought, right? First of all, you're bringing your awareness to it. So I'm a people pleaser. Hi, my name is John, and I'm a people pleaser. I'm a PP Anonymous. That's People Pleasers Anonymous. You can join my group. We meet on Tuesdays. I'm John, and I'm a people pleaser. So you start to notice, okay, I'm a people pleaser. You notice when that thing that comes up for you around people pleasing, oh, I'm doing it. Okay, so you can stop. Take a breath. Take 3 deep breaths. And say, check in with yourself. Okay, what am I feeling? Check in with your emotions. Typically, you're going to feel afraid. You're going to feel worried. You're going to be afraid of rejection. You're going to be afraid of not getting something. Martin, I love you, brother. Typically, it's fear, right? Check in. It's fear. And then you check in with that fear. Now, every part of you wants the best for you. That's the truth. Every part of you wants the best for you. Every part of you wants to protect you. That fear, it wants to protect you. So you can say, thank you, fear. Like you know that it's there to protect you. But that fear is no longer valid. So delete and clear. And then you can reaffirm something like a mantra, like I'm worthy of love and connection without conditions. So the process is you stop, you take 3 deep breaths, you identify what emotion is coming up for you in that moment, delete and clear, that's no longer valid. And then you replace it with a mantra. I'm worthy of love and connection without conditions. You take 3 deep breaths and you go on your way. This was a technique that was introduced to me by my brother, Giovanni Bartolomeo from Elemental Rhythm. And it's a very powerful technique. So I want to share that with you. Okay. So we've talked about psychedelics, we talked about meditation, we talked about people pleasing. I think this is our talk for today. I'm really grateful that you guys were here. Thank you so much for joining. I'm sending you much love, and I'll see you guys next Thursday. See you later. Bye-bye.